Okay, but that is my first thing. That's the first thing I think of when I'm like, well, if Meghan was back in California, she would be posting like a mad woman. Because do you remember when he was still at the Invictus Games in 2025 and she left a little early? She went back and immediately started posting. Like, this is what she does. She cannot be quiet and allow Harry to dominate the news cycle on his own terms through his own endeavors while he's separated from her. She can't handle that. Charles knows that he's not winning any popularity contests by hosting those two at Highgrove. Am I right? So if the meeting never really happened, it would probably do a lot to boost Charles's image in the UK public. So many are disillusioned with him because of that stunt he pulled a couple weeks ago about being defender of all the faiths. And a lot of people see him as weak and soft where Harry is concerned. A lot of people would probably give him a lot of points for saying, yeah, nothing ever happened, you know? And that doesn't apply to royal helicopters like those from the King's helicopter transports or any of the other RAF transport helicopters. They don't announce their landings to the public. They land directly on the private grounds of the estates, and they're completely shielded from public view, paparazzi, civilian plane spotters, and as we've discussed, their flight tracking data can be masked. So there might be real concrete reasons why we don't have helicopter data on this. And he's a 77-year-old man who just wants to see his grandkids. And he knows he has to go through Harry and her to get to the kids and see the kids. And that's a tough beast of burden to carry on your back. I mean, would you want to have to deal with Harry and Meghan? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jennifer, so happy to have you. I hope you're doing well wherever you are, whatever time of day you're watching this video. My family's still in Germany. We're going to be preparing for our move. And it's very stressful because we don't know exactly when we're flying out. We don't know when our pack outs are going to be. We know it's going to be within the next 2 weeks, but it's just kind of living on the edge. So I'm trying to get as much stuff as I can done. And I was actually at my desk yesterday and today outlining and filming, and soon I'm going to be editing the next 2 episodes of Priscilla Presley, Child Bride, that series here on the playlist. I hope you are into that playlist. If you haven't yet, please get on it. It's a really, really great and juicy read. But anyway, so just trying to keep up with the news and different things going on. And just sitting here eating pretzels, and I was like, I was thinking of that episode in Seinfeld. Do you remember when George Costanza is eating pretzels and he's like, these pretzels are making me thirsty? That's exactly how I am right now. I'm like, why? I need to get some water. These pretzels are making me thirsty. So hold on, let me take a sip. Okay, sorry. But anyway, so have you guys noticed? I just want to point this out to you really quick. Have any of you guys been to Meghan's Instagram lately? I mean, you know that I'm going to go on her Instagram. I go on there at least once every 3 or 4 days or so. I mean, you have to keep up with what shenanigans she's up to, right? If you aren't on Instagram, good for you. I really don't like Instagram, you guys. Like, I started posting some shorts from my YouTube channel over on there because I hadn't posted in over like a year and a half. It's a completely different vibe over there. I just find Instagram so much more ad based, and it's just like shallow in the sense that it's all focused on aesthetic, where, you know, YouTube is like anything you're interested in. You can DIY anything, you can learn anything, you can watch stories, you can get news. So you know the difference between YouTube and Instagram. And some would argue that there's no way a personality like Meghan could ever succeed on a YouTube, because you actually have to have something to say and be able to articulate it. But anywho, have you noticed how quiet she is over there? It's been eerie how quiet she's been, you guys. The last day that she posted was Father's Day, when we got that little picture of Lily and Archie, of course, back inside of their heads, and then he's smiling, holding them, and the picture's all weird, and it's lit weird, and whatever. Like we talked about that when it came out, but eerily quiet. And not much going on either over at the As Ever official Instagram grid. I mean, I believe the last thing she did was maybe about a week ago where she's posting her hibiscus tea iced, trying to pawn it for the summertime. But I think I've told you guys this before. I hate berry and those types of flavored teas. Like, I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to tea. I like things like Earl Grey, black, orange pekoe, green even, but these berry type of hibiscus type of blend teas that are this color, like I just find when they've been sitting in the cup too long, or even when they're ice brewed like this, they just tend to taste kind of bitter. And you usually need something to accompany it, like honey or like sugar or like anything just to kind of sweeten it up and make it more palpable, my opinion. But yeah, eerily quiet for the most part over there too. And the reason why I think it's been quiet is because she's not in California, you guys. And I'm going to get into it because we all know that the press is reporting widely over this last week that this meeting between Charles and Harold and Meghan and the two supposed children happened. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions about it. I said, hey, I'm all for a reconciliation as long as it's private and as long as Harry and Meghan don't have the ability to monetize it for their own selfish ends and gains. So if he wants a private reconciliation with his father and Charles wants it too, fine, fair enough, go ahead. Go on and do it, okay? It's the Christian thing to do and encourage, okay? That's my opinion on it. Some people are very upset about it. They think that it is a sign of Charles being weak. And then there are other people out, swaths of people now saying and believing that they don't think that that so-called reunion, and that was on July 10th, that so-called reunion they don't think happened. And they're focusing on timelines and how it couldn't have been pulled off based on the logistics of where Charles was in the hours leading up to that supposed afternoon meeting at Highgrove last Friday, and also the logistics of where Harry was in the hours leading up to that supposed meeting at Highgrove. So, you know, again, it's just this perfect storm. It's missing visuals, you know, there's no pictures of anything, all these tight logistics and I think if Meghan wasn't in the UK, she would be actively posting. That's the first thing. That's the first thing to me that gives me reason to believe that she was in the UK and eventually did have a meeting, albeit a really short one. You guys, this could have been a 30-minute meeting. Okay, the king's a busy guy. We all know Harry ain't so busy. He's pretty much looking for work, but so it could have gone off without a hitch, but very, very quickly. Okay, but that is my first thing. That's the first thing I think of when I'm like, well, if Meghan was back in California, she would be posting like a mad woman, because what did Dr. Phil teach us all those years ago? I remember watching him pretty regularly for the first few years because everyone loved Dr. Phil back then. I mean, I know he's still active and he still does have a very popular YouTube channel and all that. I don't know if he's still syndicated on regular cable or TV, because I don't have regular cable or TV. My husband and I watch everything on our Roku when we do watch. But anyway, point being, Dr. Phil always used to tell us that the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. So what has Meghan done every single time Harry's been away, visiting somewhere by himself, either working his charities or, say, for example, when he went to the UK on his own last fall, 2025, she posts like a mad woman the entire time that he's gone. Do you remember when he was still at the Invictus Games in 2025 and she left a little early? She went back and immediately started posting. Like, this is what she does. She cannot be quiet and allow Harry to dominate the news cycle on his own terms through his own endeavors while he's separated from her. She can't handle that. So that's one thing to me that points to her being there, because she's busy. She's busy, and she probably doesn't have time to post. She doesn't have time to arrange all of her boring flat lays for all of us, or go through her bank of 3-year-old photos or whatever. I mean, they're probably not 3 years old, but they're pretty old. She doesn't have time to go through all these photos and figure out, okay, what boring old photo am I going to post today? Okay, so that's, to me, a huge, huge indicator that she was in the UK. And I know that there's speculation out there because Harry was seen publicly in Birmingham and Charles had his own scheduled outings, and, plotting timelines down to the minute. People are saying that these windows of availability, they don't line up in any way, shape, or form for them to have spent any type of meaningful time together. But again, to that I say, well, could have been a super, super short meeting. And then a lot of people are like, there is a complete lack of visual proof. There's not one single paparazzi photo of them arriving in the UK, nothing of them, Meghan or the kids arriving, staying at a hotel, driving into Highgrove, all that kind of stuff. Oh, and by the way, that little snippet video that I included on my last video talking about Harry and Meghan, that was supposedly them driving in, getting booed. At the time that I put that in my video, I said, I do not know if this is true or not, meaning AI, but even if it isn't, it's just still too good not to put in there because it creates an interesting and fun visual. And a few people in my comments were like, this isn't real, it's AI. And I'm like, I know, I said that in my video, you guys. It's funny. But anyway, so for a lot of people, if they don't have that visual evidence, then it never happened. But we have to remember that the palace actually said there will be absolutely no talk about this. And in addition to that, there is going to be no photographic evidence, period. That is the stipulation that they set forth from the get-go. So I understand trying to break down timelines and GPS coordinates and all that, but I mean, I don't know. I guess in this age of conspiracy where everything is a conspiracy, I mean, what's going on right now with the whole Tyler Robinson hearing, right? So many people now are finally in mass starting to come down on Candace Owens and all of her conspiracy theories that she has been peddling for, how many months now? Going on 9 months or so. And a lot of people really feel like it's done a lot of damage. I mean, she's basically accused a widow of being involved in her husband's assassination. So, in this age of conspiracy, I mean, am I the type of person to say that every conspiracy is wrong? Well, absolutely not. There's so many things that have been proven. I mean, look at everything that happened with COVID and the vaccine and Fauci and all that. So I think that there could be a kernel of truth in a lot of conspiracy theories. Are all of them 100% true? No. Do we have to be discerning in every single instance now because there's so many voices out there, both mainstream and independent? Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that there's so many alternative viewpoints out there now and that people don't have to rely specifically on mainstream media because we all know how much the mainstream has let us down in the Western media world. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, Buckingham Palace doesn't typically issue false confirmations about the king's whereabouts. I mean, they did explicitly verify the meeting took place on Friday, July 10th. And, it might not necessarily be a cover-up, you guys. It might simply just be the only way that the family could ensure that this 77-year-old monarch who's undergoing cancer treatment could quietly and safely see his family. And also, please don't forget how deeply unpopular Harry and his wife are in the UK. Charles knows that he's not winning any popularity contests by hosting those two at Highgrove. Am I right? So if the meeting never really happened, it would probably do a lot to boost Charles's image in the UK public. So many are disillusioned with him because of that stunt he pulled a couple weeks ago about being defender of all the faiths. And a lot of people see him as weak and soft where Harry is concerned. A lot of people would probably give him a lot of points for saying, yeah, nothing ever happened. So there's that to consider as well. I mean, I have a lot of disagreements with Charles and specifically with the way that he handled the wording of Defender of the Faith in that Crown report, that financial document that came out. And I have a whole video on it. I'll link it for you. But at the end of the day, as a baptized Christian, someone that does believe in love and forgiveness, we have to at least allow the man to have a meeting with this estranged prodigal son of his. And however we may feel about Harry, we're not in the relationship with Harry and Charles. So again, might not necessarily be a conspiracy, you guys. That's just the reality of it. Understand that there were some, geographical logistics that might have made it a little bit more difficult for Harry and the king to meet. And, someone could say that, yes, there is no evidence of a helicopter taken by Harry or the king to this meeting at Highgrove. But we have to remember that flight tracking data can be masked, okay? And I just did a little bit of digging on this. And, I found out that royal and high security aircraft frequently fly under privacy. It's specifically called PIA, which the acronym, when you break it down, stands for Privacy ICAO Address, or it falls under the acronym LAD, which is the Limitation of Aircraft Displayed Programs. And what this basically means that heads of state, military transports, and royal family members could travel under police protection in these helicopters, or even by car, right? But specifically, we're talking about helicopters, and they can travel under protection and have their transponders masked from public-facing commercial apps for security reasons. So we in the general public might not have access to the information regarding their helicopter trip. And we also have to remember that Highgrove has its own private unmonitored airspace. It isn't a public park. It's a secured royal residence. And the airspace above it is a designated permanent no-fly zone for civilian aircraft. And that doesn't apply to royal helicopters like those from the King's helicopter transports or any of the other RAF transport helicopters. They don't announce their landings to the public. They land directly on the private grounds of the estates, and they're completely shielded from public view, paparazzi, civilian plane spotters, and as we've discussed, their flight tracking data can be masked. So there might be real concrete reasons why we don't have helicopter data on this. And I do know that having no photos is a huge, huge source of contention for a lot of people. They're just like, hey, if a helicopter flew Harry from Birmingham, someone would have photographed it somewhere, taking off or landing. Like this is all a massive cover-up because it never happened. And again, in Birmingham, where Harry was, it is a massive complex. It's got highly secure, restricted access loading zones. There's adjacent airfields where VIPs can be transferred directly. They can be transferred away from public eyes. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here, you guys, is that Harry and the King of England, for goodness sakes, they could pull off coordinating a 45-minute private helicopter flight to get them someplace quickly so they could have, at the bare minimum, 45 minutes to an hour with each other. So, I mean, just because there's not a photo of anything or, lack of helicopter evidence doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And I know so many of us, again, are upset that it did. I think the thing that might be the most credible if you were going down the conspiracy route is maybe it was just Harry and the kids. Maybe she wasn't there. Who knows? I personally believe that she is a malignant narcissist who doesn't give up control easily. So I do think that if the kids were there, she was probably there. But again, we still don't know where Meghan and the kids were. There were people talking about her being in Portugal because apparently they've got some place to stay there. Who knows, you guys? But do we really care at this point about did it happen, didn't it happen? I mean, we could all argue ad nauseum about that for days, weeks even. Personally, I think the meeting happened. At the very least, Harry was alone with his father, and at the most, he was there with the old wifey and these alleged children. Hopefully it did happen, okay? Let's give the king a little bit of peace in his final years. Who knows how long the man is going to be alive? We don't know. He's battling active cancer, okay? He's got great doctors, I'm sure. But it's still a day-to-day reality that the man is living with. I hope for his mental health, because we're always talking about Harry banging on about his own mental health. Well, we talk about it because that's all Harry talks about. But You know, what about Charles's mental health in all of this? He's a 77-year-old man who just wants to see his grandkids. And he knows he has to go through Harry and her to get to the kids and see the kids. And that's a tough, tough beast of burden to carry on your back. I mean, would you want to have to deal with Harry and Meghan? I mean, really? Can you imagine how unbelievably difficult they must make every single conversation, interaction, all of it? It's just amazing to me how two grown adults can behave in such a petulant, destructive manner and just cause chaos and division and strife everywhere they go. But this is what they do. So oftentimes innocent children, if they do exist, allegedly, but innocent children are caught in the crossfire of all of this. And that's what's really sad, you guys. So that's just my 2 cents weighing in on this. I think that the meeting did happen. I'm glad it happened privately. But like I said in my last video, it should have been private from the get-go. But here's the thing. It should have been so very private. It shouldn't even be spoken of, period. Because make no mistake, that could have been pulled off too. The reason why we're talking about it is because Harry and Meghan want us to talk about it, because that's the only leverage they have now. At this point in the game is using those kids. So they have to, Harry had to announce his itinerary a month ago. They had to plant all these stories in the media. They had to start this narrative of will they, won't they? Well, they would if they got the security that they need so that their lives won't be at risk when they're there, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? The best security, especially the type that Harry and Meghan are always harping about that they want, would have been not saying a damn word. Coordinating all of this so quietly that no one knew about it, period. And maybe have something leaked a few months down the road. Like, hey, they met and the king was delighted. End of story, But, yeah, that's just my take on all this. Let me know what you guys think. After a while, the conspiracy theories can get a bit exhausting. And again, it's not like I'm saying that every conspiracy theory is a load of crap and that we shouldn't pause and scratch our heads and think for ourselves. I mean, there are a lot of things out there that I think elites and people in power and government don't want us to know. But there's so many independent commentators and news forces out there now that they can't get away with the same crap that they used to get away with even 10 years ago. So yeah, like the video, share the video, hype the video if you can, subscribe if you have not subscribed yet to the channel. I beg you, help this mama out, okay? I'm a 52-year-old with a laptop and an opinion. And I would love it if more of you who watch my videos subscribe to them and actually clicked on them when they showed up in your notifications. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me for a little bit today, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.